Hayden Blackman, you are actually the project lead, is that correct?
That's right.
Now, obviously, everybody here, as well, I'm sure at E3 has been dying to see this game. We're actually not going to cut to it just yet because you guys are still preparing it, right? Oh, no, you're good to go now?
We're all good to go.
You're good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at this game right now because I'll be honest, this is the one I've been definitely waiting for the whole show. So let's go ahead and hear it from you, sir. What are we seeing for the first time? Maybe a little backstory for the folks that aren't quite familiar with this game yet, if that's possible.
Yeah, so The Force Unleashed is the next chapter in the Star Wars saga. It puts you in the role of a brand new character, Darth Vader, Seeker Apprentice, that's right, and gives you access to all these over-the-top unleashed Force powers. So we really wanted to make a game that was all about kicking ass with the Force, and every time you press a button, something cool and visceral happens, and we wanted to create environments that were just highly interactive. So here what you're looking at is Raxus Prime, which is actually a junkyard world in the Star Wars galaxy. It's been kind of the galaxy's dumping ground for years and years and years. So lots of things that can explode, avalanches of junk, a lot of dangers. And there's scavengers here that present a challenge. And what you're doing here is you're actually hunting down one of the last of the Jedi for Darth Vader. That's part of your mission profile as Darth Vader's Seeker Apprentice, is to hunt down the last of the Jedi. So there's a Jedi in hiding here. He's kind of holed up somewhere at the far reaches of the planet, and you're making your way through these kind of junk canyons in order to find him.
I have a couple questions for you that I've been wondering as we've been watching these trailers come out. I mean, the one that you guys had, I think it was last week that you released.
That's right, yeah.
That was amazing. So one of my first questions is, obviously you got Darth Vader in there. Are we going to see some other Star Wars characters that we're familiar with?
Absolutely. The Force Unleashed is a bridge between the two trilogies. It connects Episode 3 with Episode 4. So we have a lot of familiar characters. Darth Vader obviously has a huge role in it. You're his apprentice. The Emperor also plays a major role, as does Princess Leia and Bail Organa. So we're going to see a lot of familiar faces. Then some secondary characters too. Shaak Ti, who's a Jedi from Episode 2 and 3. She's in the game. And then we created a lot of new characters too. And this was actually something that George Lucas really encouraged us to do, was go out and create new characters. So we have a brand new love interest, this Imperial pilot named Juno Eclipse. We have a droid sidekick named Proxy, and a couple new Jedi that you'll face, and whose roles actually will change and evolve over the course of the game.
Now, just to catch the folks up at home, one of the things that is super significant about this game is all the different crazy physics systems you have all working together, and particle systems and everything to give you the amazing effect of these force powers at work. Can you talk about that for us?
Yeah, again, we wanted to create really interactive environments and really authentic interactions with characters. So we invested pretty heavily and put a lot of effort into creating a brand new engine and layering on a lot of different physics systems. So Havoc is our underlying physics system, but on top of that, we have a system called Euphoria, which is biomechanical AI. It infuses all of our characters with a central nervous system. So if you grip a character or you push them, they'll flail around, they'll try and protect themselves, they will try and grab onto other objects, and none of that is animation driven, that's all simulation driven. Then the other technology that we've integrated is called digital molecular matter, or DMM, and that allows us to basically do the same types of things with materials in the world. So you can have metal that actually bends based on real world physical properties, or glass that will shatter like glass, and wood that will bend and splinter like wood. So again, it gives the worlds a lot of authenticity. There you're seeing one of our favorite combos, the Jawa punt. So we have, had fun coming up with all the combos that are actually in the game.
Totally impaled one a second ago by throwing his lightsaber across the room.
That's another example of combos. So we have a really deep combo system. A lot of games have melee combo, and we obviously wanted to have that in there too. So your lightsaber, you can string together a lot of different attacks, but we wanted to go beyond that. So we allow you to basically add force powers to your lightsaber combo. So you might infuse your lightsaber with lightning, for example, or end an attack with a big force push. And then we have force power combos, so you can grip an enemy and then impale them, or you can grip an enemy and charge them up with lightning and then throw them and becomes a lightning bomb. That's what you just did there. That's actually my favorite power, is our favorite combo is the lightning grenade, where you can huck these guys and they'll explode and take out other enemies.
So I see these crush bonus, Jawa impaled, all these little monikers showing up underneath those two bars. What is that all about? Is this guy getting some points or something? Or?
That's right. Yeah, you earn points as you go through the game and actually level up, and then can rank up your various powers, buy new combos, buy what we call talents, which are kind of passive abilities like extra health or extra force energy. And you get more points actually for being more destructive, for using the environment, for using combos, for multi-kills, so throwing guys into chasms. So pretty much almost anything you do will earn you points. And by experimenting, you can find out how to earn, kind of the most points in a given level. And we actually have secondary objectives in every level related to earning a bunch of points.
So if you're just joining, this is Star Wars Force Unleashed, and it is amazing. And like, I don't know if you saw this guy when you were talking, but like, he is straight up like, he's a bad dude. This apprentice of Darth Vader is not a happy guy. So tell me, I mean, we've seen some of the trailers. It looks like the story is really a key focal point of this. It's not just running around and blowing stuff up. It looks like you have a really involved story that, like you said, ties together with the Star Wars universe. You want to talk a little bit about the story and anything you can add to it that you're talking about for the first time here at E3?
Yeah, sure. So we do have hopefully a very deep story. We worked very closely with George to define the time period and the types of things that we could do in the time period. And obviously you start out as Darth Vader's secret apprentice, but we actually begin the game a little bit before that. We have a prologue level where you actually play as Darth Vader, and you go to the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk, and you have Darth Vader is unleashed too. That's kind of the way we're portraying the Force in the game. So you have all these crazy Force powers as Darth Vader. You're just cutting through Wookiees as you're searching for one of the last of the Jedi, and through the course of that, Vader ends up actually finding this boy that he kind of kidnaps and takes to train as his apprentice. So, and then we jump ahead in time, and you take on the role of the apprentice, and you start undertaking missions for Darth Vader. But one of the things that we were really focused on was making sure that we had a strong central theme to the story. And we talked a lot about this with George Lucas, what would be a good theme, and we kept going back to the films. And the central theme of the films is redemption. So ultimately that became the theme of our story. So while you start out as Darth Vader's secret apprentice, it's not necessarily where you'll end up. And again, the story goes through many twists and turns, and the apprentice has some choices that he gets to make that will ultimately determine the outcome of the story. And we do have multiple endings, so so players can kind of choose whether they want to go down that path of redemption or not.
Did you work on episode 3 by any chance?
At LucasArts we did.
Yeah.
I was involved in it kind of in a tertiary manner.
The alternate ending you guys had for that was awesome.
Well, where Anakin basically becomes the.
That should have totally been what happened.
Right, and so and we actually took inspiration from that because we thought that was cool too. So some of the the twists and turns are pretty big like that, and I think that there's one ending in particular that I think people are going to be really surprised at. So
like I'll be honest, like looking at that trailer, like if I was going to guess, right? So you're saying you start out as Darth Vader. So I have to imagine that first level when you're doing it as Darth Vader, you got all the badass abilities. He's super powerful, super strong, and then they get you to the apprentice, and then you kind of working your way up to being about that level again, right?
Yeah. Right.
So give you a little taste in the beginning and then make it work for
That's exactly what we want to do. But the cool thing about it is that Vader plays very differently.
That didn't work out so good for you.
Did he die? Yeah. Vader plays very differently than the apprentice. Vader's a big, hulking menace. I always described him as like, I want to feel like Michael Myers from the Halloween movies, right? He's stalking his enemies, right? And he has his own unique combos, his own unique visual effects. He's got a power that the apprentice never gets, which is a force choke, like we see in the films. And then the apprentice has lightning, which Vader, we know, doesn't ever have. So as you play the apprentice, it's immediately a different experience because the apprentice is much faster, much more agile than Vader. And I would say that, it's pretty, I think it's sooner than most people will expect that they feel like they've eclipsed Vader in power. I mean, there's a moment in the game where you've ranked up a lot of your powers and you're taking on some really tough enemies and you're like, wow, I'm more powerful than I was even as Vader at the beginning of the game, which is pretty cool and exciting. And it doesn't happen at the end of the game. I mean, that happens, I think earlier than some people.
So if you may, I mean, you're telling me that sequence we see in the trailer where they're running together and it's like it's on. You're telling me that's not the end. It's like midpoint somewhere.
Not necessarily. You got to play the game and find out. But in terms of like feeling that your experience you had as Vader at the beginning of the game, where you felt just super unleashed and super powerful.
You guys don't hold back.
Yeah, we don't hold back, and the player ranks up pretty quickly. So here actually is another enemy type on Raxus Prime. These are what we call our junk golems. These are actually held together by the Force, and the Jedi that is on this planet is kind of creating them to stall you. So we actually went to great lengths to create a ton of different enemy types. I think we have over 50 enemy types in the game to give you some tactical depth to the game and make you really think about how you use your force powers. These guys are susceptible to lightning, but they're resistant to some other powers, so you got to think about how you use your combos and how you use your powers. And then using the environment too. So there's turbines in the air that you can use as rockets. There's objects you can pick up and throw. You can actually draw them into fire from the scavengers. So a lot of different possibilities for defeating these guys. And every level has that type of setup.
That's awesome. All right, I'm getting a little whisper in my ear that's saying that I got to stop hogging all the questions for myself and throw out some to the audience. So, Don Francis, do you have something for us, sir?
A bajillion D questions from the audience. Carl Lieberman out of Cranford, New Jersey wants to know, there are obviously different patterns to fight with. Got different lightsabers. Do you have different fighting styles too?
We actually do. So what we did was we wanted to include 2 different lightsaber fighting styles, and the way that we actually differentiate them is through button press speed. So if you're just mashing the button really fast, then you'll do a lot of really fast strikes that do kind of minimal damage. But if you're more deliberate and you pace it out, you'll do some really big flourishes and actually end up hitting your target multiple times with each swing and can do some pretty massive damage. And then we have full lightsaber customization, so you can collect holocrons as you go through the game, and these will unlock things like new costumes, extra experience points, and lightsaber crystals. And the lightsaber crystals can be used to change the color of your lightsaber, but also change the special effects and do things like add additional damage or add a chance of lightning damage at the end of every strike. So there's a lot of ways to customize your lightsaber fighting.
That kind of feeds into the next question from Scott Urey from Brunswick, Maryland. So other than changing the lightsaber color, can you switch to other types of lightsabers? Some of the art that's been revealed shows a woman with lightsaber tonfas.
Well, we really wanted to focus on one kind of lightsaber style in terms of how he holds his lightsaber and how he fights in order to allow us to create a wealth of animation. So again, we have over 24 combos that the apprentice can use, and he also has different types of attacks for different types of enemies. So bigger enemies, he'll do different types of grapples and whatnot, all using his lightsaber as well. So that was really our focus, and then we let some of those other characters, like Maris Brood, who's got the tonfas, wield some of those more exotic ones. Although we did give him this reverse grip, which we think is pretty cool.
He's all kinds of awesome stealth like ninja, holding it back there like that.
And that was the whole idea. We wanted him. He's Darth Vader's apprentice, and he's kind of like almost an assassin in some way. So he's got a little bit of that stealth there.
Now, I have a question of my own before we go back to the audience. In this demo that you're showing, is it just going around the garbage planet and kind of destroying these guys, or does it climax to a boss fight or anything like that?
No, it absolutely builds to a fight with the Jedi. So
if I keep you here long enough, we'll get to see that.
We might actually.
Right on.
This is actually a fairly large level, so it'll probably take us a while to get there.
All
but your objective on this level is to find this Jedi that's in hiding on Raxus Prime, and then ultimately confront him and defeat him. And obviously, he's got a lot of things that he throws in your way as you're heading toward them.
What's this level up?
So that was Cameron actually earned enough points to level up, and so now he's got some points that he can spend in our customization menu in order to rank up his various powers. So if you wanted to, unlock a new combo or buy a new talent or upgrade one of his force powers. That's the other thing, is that all of the force powers are upgradable. So lightning starts out, you tap it once and it hits one target and stuns them. If you upgrade it to the next level, you can then hold it down and it will actually arc from enemy to enemy, and you can take out whole groups of enemies at once.
Now, you said the 3 choices there, so I'm guessing by the 3 buttons I saw, it's real quick and easy. You hit the button and it gives you the one of the 3 that you correspond to that button when it says level up. Is that correct?
Those are actually, you get 1 point for each of those types. So we have talents, combos, and powers. So you get 1 point for each of those to go spend. And some, rank up and power might cost 2 or 3 points depending on what it is. So you might have to save up a little bit. But then you can find additional points as you go through the game. So we've got those hidden all over the place. So people that explore will be really well rewarded for exploration because they'll find bonus points and costumes and other stuff.
Now, just to be clear for the folks at home, this is running on an Xbox 360, but you guys are going to come out for a few different systems, correct?
Yeah, it's Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 2, PSP, Wii, and the DS. And we actually built each game from the ground up for those platforms, and there's unique content on the different platforms. Obviously, the Wii has the Wii Remote, which we use as a lightsaber, and the nunchuck you use for your force powers, and it also has a dual mode, so you can go head-to-head with friends on the couch. The DS is a really fun version because you get to use your stylus to kind of string together force combos. The PSP has what we call historical missions, which put you in the role of classic characters from the films. So you might be Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader battling it out on Cloud City, but all your powers are unleashed and you're doing crazy repulses and stuff like that. So each version, and there's unique content on some of them. So the PS2, you can go to the Jedi Temple, for example, which is unique to the PSP, PS2, and the Wii.
Man, you guys are doing all kinds of business. Don Francis, what else you got, sir?
You bet. Mark Hughes from Carmarthen, UK wants to know how many planets are going to be in the game?
We haven't actually released the full list of the planets, but there's several. And one of the things that we're really excited about is that we wanted to show the evolution of the galaxy and how it changes under the kind of heel of the Empire. So early in the game, you go to a planet like Kashyyyk, and you see that it's all pristine and it's beautiful, and then later you get to go back there as the apprentice and you get to see the effect the Empire's had on it, where trees are burned down, the Wookiees are enslaved, and we do that a couple different times just to show you kind of the impact that the Empire's had on the galaxy. So again, we have a range of diverse locations like the films. We've got things like the junk world of Raxus Prime, planets like Felucia, which is this beautiful fungus planet that you see briefly in Episode 3, and then places like a TIE fighter construction facility where they're actually building TIE fighters, and there's a lot of mayhem you can cause there by ripping TIE fighters down and throwing them at enemies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mr. Don Francis.
We're seeing this a lot, particularly with the advent of trophies on the PS3. What's going to be the parity between achievements on the 360 and trophies on the PS3?
So we do have achievements on the 360. We do not support trophies at this point on we have achievements on the Xbox 360, but we don't support trophies on the PS3 at this point. We're not ruling that out for some future, but we definitely have a ton of achievements that you can gain on the 360.
And so for the folks, again, it'll be coming out for a ton of different platforms, and it's not too far away, right?
September 16th here in North America, the 17th in Asia Pacific, and then the 19th in Europe.
That sounds awesome. Do we got time for one more question?
You bet. Someone out of Russia wants to know, will the Wii Remote be able to be used particularly effectively for lightsaber, and how will it be used?
So we did focus on the Wii Remote as the lightsaber with the Wii version of the game. We actually did a lot of prototyping and focus testing with it, and we initially tried it as kind of like a fencing sim. And what we learned really rapidly is that fencing's very hard, and trying to learn, all the different parries and blocks and counters is very, very difficult. And we wanted to make a very accessible experience. So what you can do with the Wii Remote is if you swing it left, the lightsaber goes left. If you swing it right, lightsaber goes right. You can go up, down, stab, and then you can chain those all together to form combos. But we really wanted to stay away from like a hardcore fencing sim, just because that, so few people would be able to master that. And then you can do things like hold down a trigger and throw the Wiimote a little bit out with your wrist, and that will throw the lightsaber. So you have a lot of different options for how to control the lightsaber with the Wiimote.
That's super good business. Before we let you go, because I will quite honestly keep you here all day if you let me, anything you want to show before you go? Anything you want to say to the folks that have been dying to hear from you and see this game?
We're really excited. I mean, we're really excited to get it out there. We've been living with it for a couple years, getting it done. It's been a huge undertaking. The team has been amazing, and we're just excited for people to play it and hope that they just have fun, and they can go back and replay levels and experiment. And one thing that I've been very excited about is that every time I play the game, I see something new, something different that I haven't seen before. And watching different people play the game, we see a lot of different play styles. There's some people that just run in, go crazy with the lightsaber, and that's how they rank up their talents and their abilities, and those are the combos that they focus on. And then other guys might hang back and use force grip and be more like a sniper and throw stuff long range, and then they can rank up their powers differently to support that. So there's several valid play styles, which I think is pretty exciting too. We also have several difficulty modes. So there's 3 at the beginning, kind of easy, medium, and hard, and then we have a super hard that is really challenging, and that unlocks after you beat the game the first time.
I'm getting the impression that we're actually nearing the Jedi here. Is that right? No. We're like
yeah,
halfway there, really? All right.
We're a little ways away,
all right,
but
so,
yeah.
All right, I think that'll be about what we'll leave people with. If we're out of